Ooh. The executor.
The Emperor has approved your test demonstration, General Monk.
Thank you, Lord Vader. What I unveil today will mark a new era for the Empire.
I think there's a few around.
We will be able to decimate the rebels just as we did the Jedi Knights.
I'm not sure if Inferno did something.
With the glory and beauty
Like, he's a big Star Wars fan and has done a lot of that. But I actually want to turn it into a video
I hope the
series.
demonstration lives up to your claims. Proceed.
With pleasure.
I've actually started writing a script for
Trooper,
Rogue
ready.
Leader. And look at these graphics. Here's the Death Troopers. Yeah, and after I did that video on the sequel trilogy, I thought, you know what, I'd like to keep doing this. I'd like to get better at it. And the only way you get better at something is if you practice it. So, yeah, I'll be doing. There'll be some more videos forthcoming. The aim at the moment is to do one a month.
Very impressive, General. The Emperor will be most pleased.
Oh, hell yeah.
Continue with your
Oh,
project.
hang on, are we talking original
Certainly,
1 and
Lord
2
Vader.
or remake 1 and 2? Ooh, hiccups.
Thank you, Commander, for responding at such short notice. The Empire has been keeping us
2005.
on the run since the destruction of the
You
Death
mean
Star.
this one?
5 days ago, the Empire attacked one of our secret bases in the city of Talay.
This is tech base to anybody out there. Please, we're under imperial attack.
I'm just noticing now that footage is like grainy footage from Return of the Jedi.
Tak base was destroyed within minutes. Many innocent people in the surrounding city, as well as the rebel staff, were killed. Intelligence thinks that this may be an act of retaliation for the destruction of the Death Star.
Interesting. This looks like it could be a normal Imperial attack, except for those sounds.
Very perceptive, Commander. I know you understand that all we discuss here is classified. This Imperial officer, Crix Medine, wishes to defect to the Alliance.
See,
He has
this is what I
supplied us
love
with
about the
information
old
on the
games, is
development
like
of a
they
new
all
Imperial
link
weapon.
into
Those
everything.
sounds
Like,
you heard with the
we had
come
missions
from that
in
weapon.
Rogue Leader
A
that
new
were
type
led
of
by Crix
stormtrooper,
Medine.
the Dark
And this
Trooper.
is where we learn about how
A new stormtrooper that can take out a rebel base that quickly?
Crix
I
Medine
should have kept working
defected,
for the
you know?
Empire.
The Rebel Command is not taking this lightly. They have authorized me to hire you to find out if there is a threat, and if there is, to shut it down. That is, if you are still on our side.
This could be interesting. Alright, I'm in. But I think I'll need some help on this one. I want Jan Ors as my mission officer.
Certainly. Then I will let Jan brief you further on your mission objectives. Thank you, Commander, and may the Force be with you.
Alright. Talay Tak Base Aftermath. It's good to see you, Kyle. Good job on Operation Skyhook. The rebels were very impressed. Now it's back to mission hopping, just like the old days. Yeah, that's right. I find that's the problem with the Disney Star Wars expanded universe, is that it doesn't link together. Like, everything is separate. It doesn't feel cohesive. You know. And as much as I'm still entertained by it, I'm just used to everything linking together and referencing other things as well in Star Wars. Like, yeah. And you know how they had crossover, like in Revenge of the Sith, where in the scene where all the Jedi are getting mowed down, there's a character in there, one of the Twi'leks, who's the blue Twi'lek called Ayla Secura, and she was a creation in the comic books, and just to have her appear in that scene was just it felt good because everything felt interconnected, whereas the sequel stuff sort of it doesn't gel together right. Like one of the big things that one of my big annoyances with the Rise of Skywalker was how they sort of changed Poe's backstory a bit. So there have already been comics in the there've already been comics written in Disney canon about Poe's parents. So we know who his parents were, and we know that he was a fighter pilot in the New Republic as well. But that movie basically went, I grew up on Kijimi, and I was a smuggler, and then I joined the Resistance. So it's just like Disney were already ignoring their own canon, which is just like, what the hell are you doing? You know. The minute they said the Legends universe is no longer canon, everything fell apart. See, I don't mind that so much because there's things like before Star Wars sort of got back into the books, like, because I think Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire trilogy was where Star Wars sort of came back into being, like, a bit, and started growing more. Before that, there was a few books written here and there, and some other media stuff. Like, if you've never seen the Star Wars Holiday Special, do yourself a favour and don't look for it. It is terrible, but it takes place after A New Hope, and is basically Han and Chewie trying to get to Chewie's planet for Life Day, which is Star Wars version of Christmas. But it is just so bad. It is ridiculously bad. But that was canon. That was canon until too late. Already seen it. Yeah, I feel your pain, man. But even stuff like there was a book called Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which was released not too long after A New Hope was in the cinema, and it's not a bad story, but it's things like Luke was able to adjust the blade on his lightsaber to virtually turn it into a lockpick-sized blade, you know, and bits like that you just don't really fit with modern Star Wars, you know. So I can understand Disney. They've just spent $4 billion on this property, and they want to, they want to make it their own. They want to play in their own playground that they've just bought. Yeah, there was, but yeah. But like I said, they've just spent $4 billion on this thing, and they want to play in their own playground, which is fine, you know, and they have brought some stuff back in, like seeing Grand Admiral Thrawn on the screen in Rebels. Like, Rebels is one of the best things to come out of the Disney canon for Star Wars. If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it. Like, the final season of that is it's brilliant. It really is brilliant. But it feels like that's the only thing that they've sort of brought in from the expanded universe, you know? And they make decisions like there were a few things they could have done in Rise of Skywalker that would have made, you know, it wouldn't have made a real difference, but they could have thrown in names like Exegol could have been Korriban or Drummond Cass, which are Legends EU Sith planets, you know. So it could have been done a little bit differently, yeah. And even the Emperor having kids and the Emperor coming back, being cloned again, those aren't new storylines. There was a fairly early on in the piece, there was a storyline called Dark Empire where the Emperor was cloned and his spirit went into the clone body, and there was also a kids series called what was it? It was all based around the Lost City of the Jedi, which happened to be on Yavin 4, and there was a character there that was being raised by droids, and it turned out he was the Emperor's grandson. So, you know, that sort of thing is not new, and it doesn't really bother me. But the way they tell the story, just it felt rushed. It felt like they were trying to undo The Last Jedi. But anyway, I think I've ranted long enough about Star Wars, so let's get back into playing the game. Before the new trilogy, I wouldn't have minded, but this, yeah, that's it. When he tried merging with Anakin Solo, yeah, and there is so much written about Star Wars, and it'll be good to get some fresh news stories from the High Republic era, I think, because I think Disney needs to distance itself from the main timeline of Star Wars, because here's the problem with going too far forward with a story, is that you have a rough idea about how things are going to turn out. Like when George Lucas did the prequels, you know that he's got to hit certain marks to get to the prequels. Like Anakin's got to turn to the dark side, the Jedi have got to be wiped out, the Republic has got to become the Empire, you know, and there's bits like that you know have got to happen somewhere. So that story has to be told. But when you go so far out in front, again, like with the sequel trilogy, like there was a like none of the books that have been written since then seem to have an impact. You know, they're not. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me to explain, I think. Let me see if I can get the right words. So it's like if you write a book series. Actually, what's probably better to do is, you know, take you back to the Legends EU. So after Return of the Jedi, there was a whole series of books written. So the Heir to the Empire trilogy took place about 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So, so there was a bit of gap in there to fill in that they filled in with the main character books. But then they also had the X-Wing series, which I absolutely loved as a kid. Probably partly because I really loved the X-Wing and TIE Fighter video games as a kid too, which hopefully I'll get around to playing one day. But the books themselves, like, they didn't follow the mainline characters. Like, they made an appearance here and there, but it was about Wedge Antilles and Rogue Squadron, you know? And I loved the character that Wedge Antilles became, and seeing what they've done to him in the new canon, that hurts, because he was such an amazing character and he's just been reduced to something else. But anyway, I'm ranting again. Let's go on with the game. Come on. Alright, so Rebel Command has made a brief reconnaissance of the area and it's swarming with Imperial activity. The power is still down in the city, so some of the systems are going to be down as well. We need to find the main hydroelectric power generator and get it back online. I didn't mind what they did to Luke. I think there were some stories, beats that they were trying to hit, and I think The Last Jedi did it. I didn't mind what they did to Luke. I think it's probably, honestly, it's probably a little bit of how Obi-Wan felt after Anakin fell to the dark side. You know, difference is that he was forced to go into hiding, so he was able to do that and come to terms with that on his own, whereas Luke forced himself into exile, you know. Alright. The Empire usually gets sloppy after a major offensive, so we may be able to find evidence or leads about this new Dark Trooper we've been hearing through Crix Mating. His contacts inside the Empire will help us follow up on anything you may pick up. Good hunting. Objectives: find and restart the generator, find some clues to Dark Trooper, return to landing area. Okay. Here we go. Even the music in this, man, the music in this is pretty damn cool. What the hell's that? Oh, it's a stormtrooper. Oh. So, they look a little bit grisly.
You're not alone.
Wow, that was some terrible shooting, Tex. I get the feeling this is the way I'm supposed to go, so I don't want to go there just yet. Man, I'm so looking forward to the Kenobi TV. It's a TV series now, I think, isn't it? I'm so looking forward to that. Oh my god, I'm not used to not having strafe.
Hold. Surrender immediately.
Okay, so we end up in the same place anyway. Yeah. Disney Plus needs some more stuff, hey? Well, I'm on the verge of cancelling my Disney Plus just because there's nothing to watch. Well, I probably would cancel it if I didn't pay for the year up front because I got a little bit overexcited about it. I'm not sure about Star Wars series, but I know they've got a couple of original Marvel series. So like there's there's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
And blasters on full.
Where are you? It's right down the bottom. There's WandaVision, and there was something else as well. I can't remember what it was. Oh, cool, man. Should have gone in the back like that. Oh, Loki, that's it. Yeah, Cassian. I really want to see the Cassian Andor one. Why can't I open that door? Because I was really impressed by the way Rogue One went. Especially at the beginning where, you know, Cassian's there with that informant and he knew that he couldn't, this is where I came from at the beginning, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, and he knew he wasn't going to get away with that informant, so he shot him. And I go, and that is dark, but I love it. I absolutely loved it. I think I've just gone around in a big circle. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about Boba Fett showing up. Don't get me wrong, I like the interaction, but you've already got Ahsoka showing up as well. Fine, if you're going to be like that, we're going to jump down here. And we're going to shoot you. I think Boba Fett and Ahsoka showing up in the same series is too much. I have not seen that. I honestly, I try to stay away from leaked footage and spoilers and stuff like that. I like to be surprised. To the point I don't even really watch the trailers all that much, if I'm being honest.
Stop where you are.
Oh, you're not talking about 1313, are you? Because that game looked amazing, and I'm so bummed that it got cancelled. Shield. Oh wow, an actual TV series. Man, when the Clone Wars... Ooh, hello. Oh, I thought that was a key or something. When the Clone Wars cartoon was first announced, I was actually lucky enough to be backpacking around Europe at the time and went to Star Wars Celebration Europe, which was the first, at the time, it was the first one of its kind outside of the States. And that was, yes, I have watched all of the final season of the Clone Wars, but I'm not going to talk about it just in case there's people that haven't seen it. But yeah, I absolutely love, like I said, I was lucky enough to be in London when Star Wars Celebration Europe happened. So I got to go there, I got to see all the footage that they had prepared for Clone Wars, and that it was amazing. Seeing everything there. Actually, it was my first real experience with like a convention type thing. And it was so cool. I met so many of the actors that played the Star Wars people. I met Billy D. Williams. Man, that was cool. And I met Anthony Daniels. Oh, hello, we got some lights now. But yeah, it was amazing. Oh, you just remembered. What did you remember? Weapon supercharge. Oh, what's shooting at me? Oh, the Lego Star Wars got a release date. Nice. And October 20th. I might have to go pick that up, I reckon. Oh, okay. Don't think I want to go down there. What's the beeping? Might go and do that myself, actually, Arion. I haven't, who's shooting at me? It's good. I reckon it'll be fun to play that in HD. You've gushed over everything it's got going for it, but it'll be good to get this out. Yeah, man. Like, I love Jedi Order. I mean, Jedi Fallen Order. But part of me thinks that I love it because we've been needing a good Star Wars game for so long. And we finally got a good Star Wars game. Keep forgetting I've got full shields. And it was amazing to play. Like, the combat in it, lightsaber combat has never been better than it was in Fallen Order. But it almost feels that it got treated as like just a little minor game by EA, where they've gone, we can't make much money off it, so just go off and play over there by yourself type thing,
You're in violation.
But because we hadn't had a good first player Star Wars game for so damn long, yeah, well that's it. We just lost our minds over it, like you say, Ariel.
Oh!
Yeah, because Star Wars fans love the lore, you know, and if you give them something like Battlefront,
That blaster's on full.
where there isn't no lore really, you know, it's rehashing things that have been done a million times in Star Wars.
Hurry, you stop him.
So to get Fallen Order, which gave us something
You there,
new.
stop where you are.
Yeah, that's what we wanted. We wanted something new.
Stop where you are.
He's shooting at me. The last single-player Star Wars game was KOTOR 2. Yeah, the older oh hello, that's a lot of people. But I still go back to the Old Republic every now and then. But you're right, it's not. Oh, damn.
You're not on the
Yeah, the Old Republic wasn't the same because.
surrender immediately.
It's going to hurt me to say this because I do like the Old Republic, and it's the only MMO I've ever played, and to be honest, it's the only reason I played it because it was Star Wars. But in terms of a game, like the main storyline is not that good. Well, sorry, the main gameplay of the single player storyline isn't that good because the first 8 class stories have got some really good stories in them. Wow, I can't believe KOTOR 2 was the last single player. Wow. That kind of bums me out a little bit, man. I honestly thought there was more than that. Man, I am digging this music. I really am. The music in this game was cool. Yeah, I guess Battlefront 2 had a single player campaign, but it was basically there to support, to support the multiplayer. I want to look that up because I can't believe KOTOR 2 was like the last single-player Star Wars experience before Disney bought it.
Jan?
Go ahead, Kyle.
Looks like I found something that can help us out.
Oh,
Get
Force
back to the
Unleashed 1
landing
and
pad,
2.
I'll meet you there.
When were they released? So what, I have to go back. Wow, man, it's even things like I'm used to using the wheel mouse to zoom in and out, and now you don't do that anymore. Over 100 years ago. Oh, so we did have something before, after Knights of the Old Republic 2. Yeah, it's still a long way away. It was shooting at me. can swim. Do I want to swim? Okay, can't go that way anyway. Yeah, and the Force Unleashed were a bit of like power fantasy as well. Especially the second one. Like, the story in the first one I quite liked, but the second one was all over the shop. Seriously, who's shooting at me? But yeah, Force Unleashed 1 was super cool. You know, and it was back then when LucasArts like did multimedia releases. So like, I remember. Where are you? I remember back in Shadows of the Empire days. Not that way. So. Shadows of the Empire was, like, most people I think played it as a game, but there was also the book and the comic book as well. And they did a similar thing with Force Unleashed, where they released a book and a comic as well, trying to keep things fresh and like give you some backstory to it. Is this the way I'm supposed to be going? I think so. The landing area was out here somewhere, I think. Oh, let's just go this way. Yep, this is it. Oh yeah, mission objectives completed. Next mission.